My mother can't understand human language. I'm allergic to mangoes, yet she immediately poured mango juice into my milk tea, nearly causing me to go into fatal shock. After gastric lavage, the doctor instructed me to eat a liquid diet and rest. She locked me in a rented room in the suburbs, giving me only tap water for every meal, strictly enforcing the doctor's order to eat a liquid diet and rest, because of you. I missed filling out my college entrance exam applications and wasted away to death. My soul followed my mom, watching her sue the innocent doctor in court. I followed your instructions to feed my daughter liquid meals and provide her with quiet recuperation in the suburbs. So why did she still die? After the truth came to light, my mom was attacked by the entire internet. Dad brought mom to my grave to weep. All you lost was your life. But your mother has lost her reputation. Opening my eyes once more, I decided to repay in kind, to let my mother experience what it's like to suffer equally from the ones she loves. I took the thermos mom handed to me and stared blankly at the calendar hanging on the wall. I confirmed the fact of my rebirth. Kathy, welcome home. Mom made you milk tea. Have a sip to soothe your throat. Mom waved her arms in delight, urging me to quickly taste her handiwork. In my previous life. On the day I returned home from the township after the college entrance exams, my mother also handed me a cup of milk tea just like this. After she repeatedly assured me that there were no mango ingredients in the milk tea, I drank it all in one go and soon fell into anaphylactic shock. After having my stomach pumped, I angrily went to confront my mother. Mom choked back her tears, burying her head in Dad's embrace. Kathy, you only said you were allergic to mangoes, not to mango juice. Don't blame your mom, I just wanted you to try something new. Dad played the peacemaker, first scolding me for my tone when speaking to Mom, then added, since it was your mom's mistake, she should take care of you until you're fully recovered. A single word, take care, solidified Mom's determination to strictly follow the doctor's orders. The doctor said the patient needed rest and quiet, so she rented a single room in the suburbs, took away the keys, and eliminated any chance of me going out. I could only have fluids, so she bought a kettle and had me boil tap water to drink every day. In the end, I not only missed filling out my college application, but also died of starvation, my soul drifting to my mother's side. Upon learning of my death, my mother was utterly heartbroken and sued the doctor in court. I fed my daughter only liquids as you instructed and let her rest quietly in the countryside. Why did she still die? After the court hearings, the truth came to light. My mother was attacked across the internet, labeled as a child killer. Dad brought Mom to my grave, and in deep sorrow, said, Kathy, your mother just lacked education and misunderstood the doctor's orders. You should still show understanding toward your mother. After all, in this matter, what you lost was merely your life, while what your mother lost was her reputation. Death taught me a lesson: if the stick doesn't land on the other person, they won't know what it feels like. Reborn in this life, I am determined to make my mother treat the ones she loves with equal measure. After realizing I had been reborn, I picked up the cup, sniffed it, and refused. Mom, I won't drink it. Facing the simultaneous gazes from Mom and Dad, I furrowed my brow and explained, it smells like mango in here. I have a severe mango allergy. I can't have even the slightest bit. Mom didn't seem to expect I could be this sharp. After a few seconds of stunned silence, she let out a deep sigh of disappointment. She had just opened her mouth to speak when her father cut her off. What's wrong with Kathy having mangoes? What mother would harm her own daughter? I'm allergic to mangoes too. Why didn't I tell her not to buy them? I think this milk tea is perfectly fine. Don't be so finicky. Taking a kind gesture and treating it like poison. Seeing her father's unwavering defense, her mother responded, deeply moved. You always understand my good intentions. I'll go get breakfast right away. You have to go to work soon for that promotion meeting. We can't be late. With that, Mom hurriedly slipped into the kitchen. Dad snatched the cup from my hands, stood up, and was about to pour the liquid into my mouth. I quickly dodged, but ended up catching a slap from him. Just after being reborn, I'm about to be force-fed poison by my own biological father. I looked up in disbelief and shouted, Dad, what are you doing? I'm severely allergic to mangoes. Dad stood above me holding the cup, his expression cold and unfeeling as he scolded, it's such a trivial thing. Look how scared you are. Your mother is doing this for your own good. Exercise more and your allergy will go away. I've given it to you, so you better endure it. The cheek where Dad had struck me throbbed with a pain like needle pricks, under the threat of his force. I had no choice but to lift the milk tea to my lips. Even with only a tiny bit of the liquid touching them, a wave of numbness spread across my mouth. Only after staring at my slightly swollen lips did Dad finally let me off, leisurely saying, "See, nothing happened, right? Remember, never betray the trust of your family." I lowered my eyes to hide the hatred within, making an excuse to go help Mom in the kitchen. Just as expected, I saw Mom busy in front of Dad's teacup. When Mom saw me come in, she gave me a smug glance and filled Dad's cup to the brim with milk tea. "Little Yun, see how much your dad loves me. You and your dad should drink more of the milk tea I made. It's really good for your health." Smelling the mango fragrance wafting from the milk tea, I smiled and nodded, helping my mom pack the teacups into my dad's briefcase. After all, my mango allergy is inherited from Dad. Didn't he say he wanted to cherish Mom's kind gestures? Well, then he'll just have to prepare to drink his fill. In the hours that followed, I kept my eyes fixed on the clock on the wall at home. If nothing went wrong, then something was bound to go wrong. Sure enough, 10 more minutes passed, and then came the sound of a key turning in the lock outside the door. A figure abruptly pushed open the door and barged in. Mom first let out a startled cry, then looked at the intruder in horror. "Honey, is that you?" His skin, visible beneath his clothes, was covered in red spots, and his lips were swollen like sausages. His arms were even more horrifyingly scratched and mangled. He trembled as he raised his hand, pointing at me furiously. "You wretched girl, what did you put in my teacup?" I was in the middle of giving a presentation to all the leaders, took one sip, and my whole body started aching and itching. I nearly died right there. "Are you still holding a grudge because I hit you? Is ruining my promotion the only way you'll be satisfied?" Dad's angry tirade came rushing at me like a tidal wave. As the scolding reached its peak, a heavy hand hung poised above my head. Unhurried, I dodged it and asked with feigned confusion, "What are you talking about? Wasn't that the milk tea Mom made?" Dad froze, then, with reddened eyes, he looked at his mother in disbelief. "That cup of milk tea I drank this morning. Did you give it to Kathy?" Father clenched his fists, his face filled with unconcealable shock and anger. "Yes." Mother, unaware of the looming disaster, nodded in agreement, smugly saying, "You said this milk tea looked wonderful this morning, so I poured all the leftovers into your cup." Father stood frozen in place, his eyes wide as plates. After a long pause, he gritted his teeth, cursing, "You fool, you've ruined me," and slapped Mother hard across the face. "What are you pretending to faint for? You made me lose face in front of my boss. And now my entire future is ruined because of you." Tears of injustice welled up in Mom's eyes. "Honey, why did you hit me? Wasn't it you who supported me in feeding our daughter bubble tea? I thought you liked it too." I chimed in from the side, trying my best to comfort Dad in a gentle tone. "Dad, didn't you say allergies can be overcome through exercise? Mom has such good intentions, you must not let her down." Dad glared at me with dead fish eyes. I spoke earnestly, "Dad, remember what you said, never let down a family member's good intentions." Watching Dad's look of regret and the stifled frustration that left him unable to speak, I smiled. In my previous life, my father dismissed the suffering I endured from my allergies with just a few words. This time around, let him truly experience the power of my mother. 20 days after the college entrance exams ended, I finally saw the score I had missed in my past life, 583 points. The difference from my original estimated score was minimal, so to be cautious and safe, I went online to purchase a one-on-one school selection consultation course. Before entering the bedroom, I repeatedly instructed my mother not to disturb me in the room. My mother cried out in protest, "You are my daughter, would I ever harm you?" I didn't pay her any mind and silently closed the bedroom door. After clicking on the video link, I heard footsteps coming from outside the door, confirming that Mom couldn't just sit still as I had suspected. "Kathy, would you like Mom to come in and help you take a look?" I refused loudly. The words had barely left my lips when I heard my mother turning the doorknob. "Why did you lock the door? Kathy, hurry and open up. Mom needs to meet with the teacher with you to discuss your application." I shouted back, "I'm on a video call, don't come in." "Why can't I come in? Are you in danger? Let Mom in right now, before long." The sound of twisting the doorknob turned into knocking, which then escalated into banging. Mom kept shouting outside the door, throwing her body against it, and the sound of a wooden stick could be heard as well. I typed a message on my phone to Dad, asking him to tell Mom to quiet down a bit. After more than 10 seconds, Dad replied, "Let her in if she wants to come in. She is your mother, after all, and she cares about you. She may be uneducated, but she has a kind heart and won't harm you. Since they insist on bringing this on themselves, I can't be held responsible." I got up and opened the door, letting Mom in. Mom rushed into the room, her face unable to hide her excitement. "Little Yun, Mom's here. You were afraid Mom would embarrass you if she came in earlier, weren't you? Now, watch me bring you some face in front of your teacher." With a smile at the corner of her mouth, she flicked her hands and stamped her feet, twirling all the way from the door to the computer, performing a comical little dance. Once the dance was over, Mom bowed with a laugh. "Hello, teacher, I am Kathy's parent, and I also want to." "Why is it you, this crazy woman, again?" We are in the middle of chatting with Kathy. "What are you here to stir up trouble for?" What her mother hadn't expected was that the people in the video were not strangers, but a few relatives from their rural hometown in the town. Apart from second uncle, who was sitting at the front with a dissatisfied look on his face, the other relatives were laughing so hard they were nearly doubled over, clearly having witnessed the entire spectacle of Mom's comical performance. Mom met the gazes of the relatives and was instantly dumbfounded, and that second uncle happened to be Dad's long-standing rival. Second uncle and Dad had long been hostile toward each other, and he was also very dissatisfied with Dad's wife. Seeing my mother now acting all crazy, banging on the door and shouting to disrupt our conversation, only added fuel to the fire. Second uncle in the video launched into a furious tirade. Mom was left speechless, standing there dumbfounded beside me. However, this ordeal that belonged to my mother was far from over. After cursing at my mother, second uncle immediately called my father. "Big brother, back then you snatched my chance to go to the city for school, and then flaunted right in front of me that you'd landed a city wife. I told you you'd pay for it. Just now I was listening to Kathy share the good news, and your woman started acting like she'd taken the wrong medicine, singing, dancing, and calling me teacher. The wife you married is crazy. You deserve to be poor for the rest of your life." In the video, the other relatives were still laughing heartily, their laughter all echoing into the phone receiver. A sharp crashing sound came from the living room. Dad stormed in like a gust of wind, hurling the TV remote at Mom. With a sharp crack, Dad ended the video call and shouted angrily at Mom, "You can't even recognize our own relatives. Kathy was just making a call to him. What were you yelling about? You've completely ruined both my inner worth and public reputation." I'm about to die from anger, so furious I can barely breathe, having been mocked by his lifelong rival, Uncle Number 2, and now witnessing Mother endure such humiliation. Father responded with insults even harsher than his brothers. Mother trembled uncontrollably, her lips quivering too much to form words. Only after what seemed like an eternity did she mumble weakly, "I want to help Kathy choose her major." I calmly retorted, "I've told you several times I'm on a video call. Stop interrupting. It was you who insisted on barging in." Dad's face turned from red to green, then from green to black. After hearing my words, his face darkened even more, and the look he gave my mother was as if he wanted to devour her alive. "You said Kathy was discussing her college application choices with some teacher, and what was the result? A disaster, a total disaster. You can't even understand what's being said. How did our family end up marrying such a madwoman? Our daughter just made a video call, and you had to put on a show. Do you think you're a kindergarten student, greeting every single person like a teacher?" I watched the whole spectacle with great interest and gently invited the two of them to continue their battle in the living room. Dad is always like this, willing to play the nice guy and preach reason until his own interests are threatened. To deal with him, you have to make him feel the pain. Then, I closed the door and clicked on the real consultation video link. In my past life, Mom orchestrated my brutal death, while Dad stood by and did nothing. He even went so far as to say at my grave, "You only lost your life, but your mother lost her reputation." Such heart-wrenching words. Now, what I'm giving back to them is only a tenth of what they deserve. The play has only just begun. After Mother got a good scolding from Father, she quieted down for a few days, but I knew my mom's actions couldn't be judged by ordinary logic. Sure enough, the day after submitting my college preferences, the laptop placed in my room suddenly wouldn't turn on. I stepped out of my bedroom and asked, "Who touched my computer?" Mother was knitting when she immediately responded, "Oh, my sweet girl, it's Mom." She walked up to me and said proudly, "When I heard you applied to the medical school next door, I cleared that department, the computer system, so we can reset your preferences." "I must clarify," I said hurriedly. "Who told you that clearing the system could reset the application? Besides, my scores aren't high enough to apply locally. The cutoff for cross-city colleges is lower, so I have a much better chance of getting in." My mother straightened her back, as if taking it as a compliment. "A mother's strength comes from her child. My sweet girl, for your sake, I can learn to use the computer. There are medical schools locally too. No need to go far away. listening to Mom's disjointed proverbs. I held back the urge to correct her. I gritted my teeth and reminded her, my scores only qualify for schools out of town. Stop giving random advice, and you've broken the computer too. Scolded by me, Mom furrowed her brow, and her eyes instantly welled up with tears. She insisted stubbornly, there are medical schools right here in our city, one just next to our neighborhood. I really don't understand why you have to go somewhere else. After going back and forth without seeing eye to eye, I rolled my eyes in frustration. Back then, my mother had forced me to attend high school in this very city. As a result, the household registration couldn't be settled, and after pulling many strings, they managed to place me back in my hometown school. Not only did this waste both financial resources and manpower, but it also incurred countless favors owed. Now, once again, I couldn't understand what people were saying. With earnest intentions and heartfelt efforts, they tried to help me apply for the local key medical university that I couldn't possibly meet the requirements for. Dad had remained silent at first, but when he saw Mom's tears, he suddenly jumped in to criticize me as the voice of reason. Kathy, it wasn't easy for your mom to raise you, so what if the computer got broken? How can you blame your own family over such a little thing? After that, he paused briefly, then added another remark. That day she asked me how to change the application preferences, and I said it could be reset. How was I supposed to know your mom would clear the entire system? I scoffed coldly. He knew full well my mother couldn't make sense of technical terms, yet he still dared to offer lousy advice just to please her. If this had happened to an ordinary person, they probably would have died of rage on the spot. But this is exactly what I was waiting for him to say. I put on a sad face and said, but this would ruin me. Dad took out a cigarette and calmly persuaded me, at worst, I'll just have to repeat a year. Seeing my dad's smiling face, I also laughed. So it turns out that without feeling the whip, one doesn't know the pain. I pretended to look pitiful and cautiously stole a glance at my dad. But I was using your computer. Upon hearing my words, my father's smiling face suddenly darkened. His neck turned towards me as if rusted and stiff. What? I said in frustration. My computer was too slow to log into the college application system, so I borrowed Dad's computer. Oh, how foolish of me to remember it only now. Dad rushed into my room in a panic, picked up the laptop, and examined it closely. When he saw the custom engraving on the back, his face instantly turned ashen, and he shouted my mother's full name aloud. Mom quickly came over, not forgetting to keep knitting her yarn in hand. Hubby, what's wrong? Did you mess up this computer system? Yes. Didn't you say resetting could change the volunteer form? Facing his wife's bewildered gaze, the father threw his cigarette to the ground in a fit of rage. This is my computer. He thumped his chest and stamped his feet, wishing he could swallow the foolish woman before him whole, who allowed you to ruin the computer. It has so much client information. Do you want me to lose my job? Would it make you happy if I died? Mom obviously realized she had done something wrong. She said to Dad ingratiatingly, wasn't it you who said to reset it? I followed the voice instructions to learn on my own. How was I to know it would break? At worst, I'll buy you a new one. Buy it. Can you buy back the client data? Can you buy back all those archived files? Dad was on the verge of breaking down, pointing at Mom and shouting, I've told you before not to meddle with things. Why are you acting up again the moment Kathy comes home? I watched Dad's hysterical performance with appreciation. Earlier, when I heard Mom asking about how to change the college entrance exam application, I had already sensed she was up to no good, so, the day before, I hid my own computer, and replaced it with my dad's identical model in the room. Since Dad dared to give such a bad idea, he should face the consequences himself. I suppressed the laughter in my eyes and softly advised, Dad, Mom takes care of you every day without complaint. So what if the computer got damaged? Is it really worth making a fuss over something so trivial with your own family? We can just buy a new one if we have to. I repeated word for word the very words Dad had once said to me, yet he erupted in anger at Mom, completely unreceptive to what I was saying. I was talking about resetting my volunteer choices, not resetting the entire system. You're nothing but a jinx in this family. Ruining my promotion wasn't enough for you, was it? You won't be satisfied until you've completely destroyed me, will you? Dad had always known that Mom was unreliable, so he rarely told her anything important, and after I returned from taking the college entrance exams, he practically pushed me over to distract Mom's attention, as long as it doesn't concern oneself. One tends to gloss over issues carelessly. Now that the muddled issue has landed at one's own doorstep, it's too late for regrets. Dad was demoted by his company for losing important documents. Our family's quality of life has severely declined. With no other choice, I had to take on some tutoring gigs to help support the family. Little did I know, as soon as my mom heard it was for a student athlete, she went around telling everyone I was going to a strange man's house. Auntie Wang. My Kathy keeps running off to a strange man's house. What should I do, Auntie Lisa? Kathy just won't listen now that she's grown up. First she didn't want to study locally, and now she's running after strange men every day. It's all because we're short on money at home. Sigh. Ever since my husband's salary got cut, Kathy has turned out like this. Sometimes, I even wondered if Mom was intentionally being malicious. Who would be so eager to spread nasty rumors about their own daughter? But years of experience have taught me that Mom just plain doesn't understand what people say. Not only does her thinking differ greatly from normal people's, but she is always pushing others into the abyss. It's an unintentional kind of foolish and harmful behavior. Gradually, the elderly people in the neighborhood began looking at me with strange eyes. My father, believing my mother's half-told stories, also started to scold me. Shameless thing, all you know is how to ruin the family reputation. I should have strangled you to death right after you were born. Seeing that my father hadn't learned his lesson well enough, I decided to give him another one. After earning some money, I started by distributing small cards in the neighborhood to advertise my tutoring gig. Then, I posted the whole story online, with the title, "Diligently Working to Support the Family, Yet Tainted by My Own Mother's Malicious Rumors." I recounted my experience of being persecuted by my biological mother. The mother in the story has gained notoriety, with countless netizens eager to uncover her true identity. However, I deliberately obscured some of the details. For the time being, netizens were unable to uncover her real identity. I forwarded the link to my mom and told her to listen to it using the voice assistant. Mom stayed in the master bedroom for a full day and night. When she came out, her face was streaked with tears. They're such awful people. How can they talk about Mom like that? Mom is just worried about you, my dear daughter. If you misunderstand me like this, I might as well just die. After saying that, she pretended she was about to jump off the building right in front of me. I, of course, tried to comfort her and deleted the post right then and there in her presence. Mom's gloom vanished completely, thinking that this matter was over just like that. To my surprise, when Dad came home, he sat in the living room for a long time, looking utterly lost. Only upon seeing Mom did he suddenly seem to snap back to reality, jumping up in an instant. "Kathy is tutoring our boss's son. What were you doing? Twisting things around and spreading rumors. Now you've become famous at the company, and everyone says I married a dim-witted wife." Mom stood there, frozen in shock. After a long pause, she tried to explain. "Kathy said she was tutoring a sports student. I've never met that person, so it must be a strange man." As she spoke, she even started protesting her innocence. "Besides, didn't you, my husband, also scold Kathy for tarnishing the family reputation? Now how come all the blame is pushed onto me, a weak woman?" I added fuel to the fire. "Yeah, Dad, you've scolded plenty too. My posts have saved a spot just for you." Dad shuddered, nearly fainting. He clutched his chest, gasping for breath. "It's all because your mom misled me." He turned to look at his mom. "Please stop causing trouble. Just keep your mouth shut from now on." I nearly couldn't catch my breath. "I'm really afraid that one day you'll make me so angry I'll end up seeing the king of hell." Hearing this, Mom grew frantic, scrambling around. She rushed to the corner of the living room and picked up the woolen yarn she had knitted. Dad was caught off guard as something was shoved into his arms. He picked it up to look and let out a loud cry before fainting right then and there. My designer shirt that cost $20,000. Overwhelmed with rage, Dad fainted and was rushed to the hospital. Waking up, he found himself wearing a shirt stitched together with yarn and nearly fainted again. Mother was arguing with the doctor at the door. "My husband doesn't need to change into a hospital gown. His clothes will make him short of breath if they're too tight." The day my husband got scolded by relatives, he almost couldn't breathe. Father was about to speak but coughed a few times, drawing Mother's attention. "Honey, you're finally awake." Mom shut the doctor out, rushed to the bedside, and anxiously said, "Honey, I was afraid you'd run out of breath again, so I tailored your favorite shirt to be looser." "You," before Mom could finish, Dad raised his hand and gave her a hard slap across the face. "Are you a beast that doesn't understand words? A 20,000 yuan shirt, bought for this, and you had to ruin it. This was for the company's year-end gathering. Who told you to alter it?" Mom covered her face, tears streaming down. "You were the one who said you couldn't breathe." Before she could finish, Dad slapped her again. I sat quietly by the hospital bed, gazing at the brown and blue knitted version of the shirt Dad was wearing, a 20,000 yuan designer shirt transformed into something like this. Who knows what Mom was thinking, although I'd already known for a long time that the yarn she kept knitting was for this very piece of clothing. After Dad had vented his anger, he told me to bring the doctor in. I obediently opened the door, and after the doctor entered, he glanced at Mom, who was hanging her head and weeping. "What's going on here?" Dad said vaguely. "She's worried about me being hospitalized, feeling sad. Where's the patient gown? Let me change into it." The doctor nodded and took out his notebook to start writing. "The nurse will bring the hospital gown in a moment. Your condition is due to excessive emotional fluctuation, resulting in respiratory alkalosis. It's recommended that you rest in bed for a week." "Doctor, I can't rest for a week. I need to work." In contrast to Dad's worried expression, Mom could be described as visibly delighted. Soon, she brought her father some good news. "Dear, you don't have to work anymore. The company says your hospitalization delayed the project progress, so they've fired you." Her father was so furious that he suffered respiratory alkalosis again. It took half a day for him to regain consciousness. Seeing Dad looking so haggard, Mom cried until she could barely catch her breath. She searched online for numerous treatment methods, determined to prevent a tragedy from happening again. In front of Dad, I advised, online methods might not be suitable for the specific condition, and using the wrong one could even make things worse. "If Dad has another episode, just call the doctor right away." Mom hastily chimed in. Yes, exactly. Then I'll need to read up on more folk remedies and learn more treatment methods. If I try enough, I'm bound to encounter one that works for the symptoms." Once again, Mom misunderstood and missed the point of what I was saying. Dad kept sighing, gazing at Mom with the look of someone staring at a fool for a long time. Moments later, he asked me, "Kathy, your mother altered my shirt. Why didn't you tell me?" I replied softly, "Dad, you told me to listen to Mom and said everything she does is for the good of our family. How could I dare to go against her wishes?" Father choked up, glaring at me speechlessly for a long time. I glanced at Mother and continued, "Since Mom is the one who made you stay in the hospital, let her take responsibility for nursing you back to health." Mother nodded in agreement, tears streaming down her face. Dad took a deep breath and panicked, saying, "Absolutely not. If she takes care of me for a few days, I'll surely be sent to the grave." "So, you understand Mom's power too, then, in your last life. Why did you entrust me to Mom's care?" I lowered my eyes and spoke with clear disapproval. "Dad, Mom might not be well educated, but she's kind-hearted. After all, she's your wife. Don't hurt her feelings." Watching Dad on the verge of a third episode of respiratory alkalosis from anger, I could barely hold back my laughter. Once, as long as it didn't infringe on Dad's interests, he was always the type to stand aloof and stay detached. Moreover, he would always side with Mom and speak up for her. Now, when I treat him in the exact same way, he even has the nerve to get angry. In my previous life, my soul remained by Mom's side after I died. Watching Dad comfort Mom, feeling sorry for she gave birth to a short-lived daughter, not only showing no sorrow for their deceased daughter, but also speaking up for Mom in front of my grave. Birds of a feather flock together, these accomplice relatives. I won't let a single one of them go. At Dad's strong insistence, we divided into 2 shifts. Mom took the day shift, while I took the night shift. We took turns caring for him, the patient. The following evening, I had just arrived to start my shift. Walking to the hospital room door, I saw Mom placing a plastic bag over Dad's face. Dad had been sleeping when he was suddenly covered with a transparent bag, and a blue vein instantly bulged on his forehead. Then came a violent cough. The coughing woke Dad up. Opening his eyes, he discovered that his mouth and nose were trapped inside the bag, and he stared wide-eyed in fright. Dad yanked the bag off abruptly, looking at Mom with terrified eyes, just as Dad was about to speak. I walked in, feigning a puzzled expression on my face. "Dad had a nightmare. Kathy, your mother wants to kill me." Dad wildly waved his arms, trying to ward off Mom. I laughed. "What kind of person tries to kill someone with a plastic bag? Besides, she's your wife. She would never harm you." Mom looked as if she had been wronged, pleading pitifully. "Honey, I heard online that when someone has respiratory alkalosis, you can put a bag over their mouth to help relieve it a lot." Crazy. Dad cursed angrily and threw the bag in her face. "I told you not to believe in folk remedies and not to mess around on your own. Are you trying to suffocate me in my sleep?" Mom still didn't give up. Seeing Dad's anger, she immediately pulled another bag out of her pocket. "Honey, you're getting angry again. Quick, bury your face in the bag." Dad grabbed the bag and tore it apart, saying to her, "Hurry up and get out. My daughter can take care of me, darling. Are you angry? Hurry and let me see your face. Get out." Dad directly stretched out his leg and kicked Mom away with one foot. Mom was forced to leave. 10 minutes later, she called again. "Kathy, hurry and check if there are any bags left in the hospital room. Your dad might need them later." Dad heard the phone ring and gritted his teeth, turning sideways to press the speaker button. "I don't need any bags. Are you really trying to harm me? How many are left? Are they enough? I don't need them." Mother said with grievance in her voice, "Honey, this is the treatment method I've painstakingly found for you. Can I send the bag over right away?" "I don't need it." My dad leaned in close to the phone and shouted, then gestured for me to hang up. 10 minutes later, Mom returned with a handful of plastic bags. "Honey, the thin bags just tore when I grabbed them, so I bought some sturdier ones this time." She cheerfully pulled out several bags and handed them to Dad. Dad was already speechless. He looked at me with pleading eyes, as if seeking agreement from my side, yet I was destined to disappoint him. A curve of my lips formed a playful smile as I spoke. "Daddy, this is Mommy's heartfelt gesture. How could you refuse?" The taste of one's own making was finally his to savor. Mom completely overpowered Dad. After spending 3 tumultuous months at home and earning enough tuition money by tutoring, I rushed to the medical college in a neighboring city to register. The second month after I left home, Dad got sick with anger again. He called me. "Kathy, finish your studies soon and come back to take care of your dad. Your mom is driving me insane." Just 2 days later, he called again. "I really don't know what species your mother morphed from." When I mentioned wanting to travel, she immediately took me on a bus to a remote mountain valley. I almost died there. I couldn't help but laugh out loud on the other end of the phone. Record every phone call. And whenever you get tired of studying, listen to these recordings as jokes, and motivate yourself. You must study hard. You must escape that quagmire of a home. However, one phone call, on the very day the semester ended, threw all my plans into disarray. At that time, I had already secured a part-time job for the winter vacation near the school. Mom called, crying, saying Dad wanted a divorce. I took the overnight train home, not wanting to miss this great show. On the day I arrived, Dad and Mom had a huge fight. When Dad saw that Mom refused to divorce, he directly posted a video online. The surveillance video shows my mother putting a plastic bag over the face of my sleeping father. After uploading the video, my father also posted the article I had originally sent, titled, "I work hard and give my salary to support the family, but my own mother spreads malicious rumors about me." The video and the article went viral online. Upon learning that the subjects in both were the same person, netizens were outraged and voiced their condemnation one after another. No one expected that before netizens could even uncover who the protagonist was, the mother took the initiative to step forward herself. A lawsuit was filed, taking a netizen to court. "I searched online for how to treat respiratory alkalosis, and he said putting a plastic bag over my mouth would make it better." The mother sobbed uncontrollably, complaining that the netizen had misled her. One day later, the netizen also posted a video in response. "I'm talking about myself. During an attack, I put a bag over my mouth, breathe a few times, and it usually helps. Did I ever say it works for everyone, and what? You can't understand the words, during an attack. Why on earth would you put a bag on someone while they're sleeping? Do you not understand plain language?" He was right. My mother really doesn't understand plain language. Online criticism surged like a flash flood, flooding her with accusations that she was a foolish and malicious woman. My mother was almost crushed under the weight of it. The comments section beneath her account became a carnival ground for netizens. She posted videos to clarify her position and responded to comments everywhere, but nothing made a difference. In the end, my mother ultimately surrendered to the torrent of public insults, helplessly withdrew the lawsuit against the netizens and agreed to the divorce with my father. From beginning to end, I observed with cold indifference. The drama began, the drama ended. As long as those who harmed me are unhappy, I am infinitely joyful. On the day my parents got their divorce certificate, I gathered them together and said we should have a farewell meal. Dad had achieved his goal and was feeling quite triumphant. He said he wanted to try something fresh. It was his way of welcoming the new life that awaited him after the divorce. Too bad I've been so busy with the divorce case lately that I haven't had any rest. Even my mouth is sore, and I can't taste anything properly. "Oh, it's all your mom's fault," I nodded thoughtfully. The next day, My mom spent a hefty sum to buy seafood from the market and brought it home. My dad didn't want to pay her any mind. While she was cooking, my dad curled up on the sofa and discussed our future life with me. Mom is a whiz in the kitchen. In no time at all, she brought out a large plate of raw fish and fresh shrimp. Give it a try. It's a raw marinated dish I just learned to make. Guaranteed fresh. Dad muttered something about showing off, picked up a bite with his chopsticks, and put it in his mouth. My mouth is all sore. I can't really taste much, but the meat is pretty tender, so it's just barely edible. I served myself a bowl of rice, saying I didn't have much of an appetite and just needed something to fill my stomach. Thankfully, no one paid any attention to me. Mom was busy helping Dad peel shrimp and serve meat, constantly refilling his wine glass. Trying to make a final impression at the last moment, I kept my head down eating white rice, while occasionally observing my father's state. The more he ate, the brighter my gaze became. Towards the end of the raw marinated food, my mother drank a glass of wine, and with tears in her eyes, she raised her glass excitedly. "Husband, congratulations on your divorce." The moment Mom finished speaking, thud, Dad collapsed off the table. His whole body was swollen and stiff as a rock. Dad died. The cause of death was anaphylactic shock. He was sent to the hospital but did not survive. The autopsy results showed that his stomach contained a large amount of fish and seafood mixed with mango juice. Mom was terrified, cowering in a corner of the hospital, muttering over and over that she had only prepared a raw marinated mango seafood dish. A passing doctor called the police, accusing Mom of poisoning and murder. Both seafood and mango are highly allergenic foods, and consuming them together poses a higher risk of an allergic reaction, with the reactions being more severe. Not to mention the preparation method was still raw marination. I accompanied my mom into the police car. She was crying uncontrollably, stammering between sobs. I heard it from your dad. I just wanted to fulfill his wish." Amid my mom's sporadic crying, the police and I pieced together the whole story of what had happened. The entire picture gradually came together and became clear, strand by strand. One thing after another. On the day of the divorce, Dad said he wanted to eat something fresh. It was easy for Mom to think of seafood, that the freshness was there, but she felt it was missing something new. What is the newest thing for Dad? Of course, it's the mango, which Dad rarely gets to try. She figures, since Dad already has sores in his mouth, even if the mango causes an allergic reaction, it would just make his mouth a bit more swollen. To fulfill Dad's wish, such a minor side effect is nothing to worry about. So, Mom squeezed the mango into juice and mixed it into the seafood, creating a unique ceviche. The early stages of an allergic reaction do have symptoms, but Dad already had mouth sores, making the pain and itch unbearable, so he overlooked this sign. To make matters worse, after drinking, a flushed face and a hot head seemed perfectly normal, so this fresh dish that Dad specifically requested ended up being the death of him. He died of shock, gone just like that. I hastily handled Dad's funeral arrangements, due to Mom. Dad had managed to offend all the relatives back in the hometown. Out of consideration for our shared family ties, I reluctantly chose a remote spot on the burial ground for his interment. On the day my mother was sent to prison, I showed her a photo of my father's tombstone from a distance. Seeing my mother, shackled, vacant-eyed, and disheveled, I felt not a shred of sympathy in my heart. One was the mother who had caused my miserable death in my previous life. One is the father who pushed me into the fiery pit in my past life. I dislike both of these individuals. Fortunately, having been reborn, mother is imprisoned, and father is dead. I am quite satisfied with this outcome. The day before the new semester began, I sent a letter to my mother. In it, I wrote that I hated her for causing my father's death and would never go to see her. To kill someone, one must break their spirit. Mother was foolish and wicked, with foolishness as the core and wickedness as an added layer. In this life, let her carry her own foolishness and wickedness down to hell forever. Sitting on the train back to school, I pulled out my phone. I dug out the voice recording of the conversation between me and my mom from the night my parents divorced. "Kathy, how do you make seafood taste the freshest? If there's definitely no parasites, raw marinade is definitely the freshest. Just be sure not to eat it with foods that are prone to causing allergies." Mother doesn't understand human speech. The more you tell her not to do something, the more she insists on doing it. But I'm just giving kind advice. No one can find fault with that, right? The ghosts of my family have long since departed from me. In the future, I will rely on my own efforts to forge a bright tomorrow, one that I failed to pursue in my past life. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. A downpour arrived, and I took in my homeless best friend. As dinner time approached, she prepared the meal and sent me a message asking when I would get home from work. I was just about to reply that I had already arrived at the door when bullet comments started floating across my phone screen. Run, your best friend is about to sell you out. Don't tell her you're at the door, otherwise, the rest of your life will be ruined. The sudden appearance of the bullet comments interrupted my reply. I had no time to be puzzled. Immediately, a new barrage of comments appeared. Whatever you do, don't go home. Your best friend is lying to you. She didn't have a fight with her husband and run away from home. Her husband is at your place right now. If you go back, she'll give you a glass of spiked water. Once you drink it, you'll pass out. Even if you don't drink, there's nothing you can do. They've already told your parents where you live, and your parents are about to come get you. You can't fight them. Your parents plus your best friend's husband. There's no way you can escape. More and more comments were flooding in. The screen filled with "run," and then, the comments disappeared. I furrowed my brows. Is this barrage suggesting that my best friend, Luna, betrayed me by bringing those two wicked parents of mine here? But Luna is well aware of what kind of people my parents are. Besides, it was she who initially advised me to distance myself from that blood-sucking family. Just as I was puzzled, a message from Luna came through. Jenny, when are you coming back? Why aren't you replying? I've already made dinner. It was followed by a photo of the prepared meal. I clicked it open to see 8 dishes and 1 soup. Clearly there are only 2 of us. Why cook so much? The doubts in my heart grew even deeper. After a moment's thought, I opened the home surveillance feed. The bullet comments said her husband is also at my place. We'll know with one look, but my phone shows the surveillance is turned off. I furrowed my brow. How could that be? I had just checked the security camera earlier, and it was functioning properly. Why has it been turned off today? I have a bad feeling about this. However, besides the switch on the camera itself, my home security camera can also be activated remotely via my phone. I was about to turn on the surveillance, then I noticed movement by the front door. Without thinking, I darted into the stairwell. The door opened as soon as I got in, then I heard Luna whisper softly. There was a movement outside. Thought Jenny had returned, as if murmuring to himself. But soon, a male voice followed. So when is she actually coming back? My hair stood on end instantly in the stairwell. I recognized this voice. It belonged to Luna's husband. Looks like what the barrage said was true, so that means my parents will be here soon too. I need to get out of here, and fast. Just then, Luna suddenly called me. My heart skipped a beat. Thankfully, my phone is always on vibrate mode, so no ringtone went off. But vibrations also make a slight sound, fortunately. It's raining outside, which masks the noise. I didn't answer, just hung up directly. She called a few more times, and I hung up each time. Another message came through on WeChat right away, still asking me where I was. In such a hurry, I furrowed my brow and just replied that I needed to work overtime. I hadn't told her when I'd be back after work anyway, hearing that I was still at the company. Luna was so anxious she was hopping on one foot. Her parents are about to arrive any moment now. What are we going to do if she's not back by then? Now, truly hearing that she had sold me out, my heart sank completely. My parents had long ago accepted the bride price from an old bachelor back in our hometown, intending to tie me up and drag me back to get married. I had been tied up before, and I managed to escape when I had the chance. Never thought they would now team up with my best friend to drug me. If I'm really transported back to that mountain village in my hometown, I'll never be able to escape again. I clenched my fists tightly. Over there, Luna's husband was still complaining. I told you earlier, just kidnap her directly. Why go through all this trouble? Luna retorted. Shut up, she's been kidnapped before. She has a plan for this. I remained silent. After that last time I was tied up, I had prepared countermeasures, carrying a stun gun and anti-wolf spray, and even hiding a small utility knife inside my clothes. I told Luna about these, but I hadn't expected it to be revealed prematurely. Luna was still saying over there, I called you here to help, so hurry up and hide inside. Don't let Jenny find you. I'll go and hurry them up a bit more. Then, I heard the sound of the door closing. Shortly after, Luna sent another message. Why are you still working overtime in this weather? Can't you talk to your boss and just come home first? I sneered, too weary to reply. The hallway was empty now, but just to be safe, I went down one floor to take the elevator, but as soon as I reached the elevator, I was stunned. The elevator that had just been running was now out of service. I opened the building's residents chat group, and someone else was already complaining. The property management's explanation was that there was a sudden malfunction that needed fixing. No choice, can't waste any time, let's take the stairs. The apartment I rent is on the 12th floor, and right now I'm on the 11th. Good thing it's going down, so it won't take much effort. I turned and headed back to the stairwell, but I hadn't taken more than a couple of steps when I sensed something was off. Someone was climbing up the stairs. Without making a sound, I glanced down slightly over the handrail. Sure enough, it was my parents. Seeing them come up, my body stiffened slightly. The comments said they were coming right away, and they really arrived fast. It looks like they took the stairs because the elevator was under maintenance. What unfortunate timing, but right now, they haven't noticed me yet, so there's still a chance to escape. I quickly composed myself and then backed away. I'll just wait until they go to my place, then make a run for it. I quietly closed the stairwell door and crouched down in silence. As they passed my floor, my heart leaped into my throat. Then I heard my dad cursing and grumbling. This damn girl's been missing for 2 months now, let's see if she can run away this time. My mom also chimed in, thankfully that Luna offered us some leads. My father continued grumbling and cursing, he's also a shady one, just helping us grab someone and he wants 100,000 yuan. We only received 380,000 yuan in betrothal money. My mother sighed, don't say that, if it weren't for her, we wouldn't have known this damn girl even carried a knife on her. If she really escaped again, we'd have to return the betrothal money to them. She then pivoted the conversation, continuing, it's all Doggy's fault, that wretched girl, she never gave a single thought to the family. If she hadn't run away, none of this would have happened. Would we have lost that 100,000 yuan? Who doesn't get married these days? And she still has the nerve to be picky. They were still cursing, and I closed my eyes. I never thought I'd hear my birth name again after all this time. I was originally named Doggy. I was never favored, coming from a family with a strong preference for sons. The family was poor, and all the resources were tilted towards my younger brother. They didn't even let me go to school. Originally, I was supposed to drop out after finishing middle school. Fortunately, I received financial support for both high school and university, which allowed me to continue my studies without costing my family a dime. I had already made up my mind to cut ties with my family after graduation, but after I started working, they somehow found me and demanded that I give them money, and if I refused, they'd just make a scene. I thought it would be better to keep the peace, so I figured I might as well give them what they wanted. Who would have thought their greed would only grow? They even demanded that I buy Precious a car and an apartment. Where would I get that kind of money? And even if I did, I wouldn't give it to them. They came to cause trouble, so I quit my job. As a result, this angered them, and they wanted to sell me. No, marry me off for a bride price. I refused, so they resorted to force and tied me up directly. Just because they are my parents, no one else could do anything about it. I only managed to sneak out when I went to the restroom on the way. I went to seek refuge with my best friend, Luna. The city I'm currently staying in is thousands of kilometers away from my hometown. And Luna is the only one who knows I live here. I never expected that the person I trusted the most would be the one to stab me in the back. Thinking of this, I let out a self-mocking laugh. It was Luna who suggested I change my name. She said this name might end up being laughed at in the future. I've changed it. My name is now Jenny. I hope to have a simple and peaceful life. But now, it's clear that this wish is about to be shattered again. With that thought, I clenched my fists. I won't let them have their way. I must escape. My parents are already heading towards my floor. They've left the stairwell, and I've snapped back to my senses. Hurry downstairs. But just as I reached the 9th floor, my phone buzzed again. I picked it up and saw that Luna had sent me another message. Is that you back, Jenny? I see your car parked downstairs. I inwardly cursed, sensing trouble ahead. The car isn't actually mine. It's provided by my current company for business use. The boss's wife is quite a thinker. She had the vehicle plastered with company logos, leaving not even the roof untouched. She insisted on seizing every opportunity to promote the company. I let out a silent, bitter smile. The promotion was really well done. It stood out distinctively among all the cars, even from the 12th floor, my home. I could recognize it at a glance. This time, because the storm was coming, I didn't park in the underground garage, but instead found a higher spot on the ground. From my balcony, I can see it directly. Alright, it's also because I was careless, but it doesn't matter. So what if it's noticed? Once I reach the car, I'll drive off and make sure they can't find me. I put away my phone as I headed downstairs. After running 2 more flights, something suddenly felt off. Last time they caught me, the whole family came along. Why are only my parents here this time? What about Precious? The more I thought about it, the more something felt off. When I reached the 6th floor, I simply left the stairwell and took a glance toward the hallway. Indeed, he was right beside my car, waiting for me. I took one glance and quickly drew my head back. I found this job after I arrived here, so that family definitely wouldn't know this is my car. There is only one possibility, Luna told Precious after she saw my car just now. I understand why Precious didn't come up with my parents just now, to transport a living person out. You need your own vehicle. He probably went to park it just now. Fine, driving my own car isn't an option now, not impossible, but I'd have to take him down quietly. I thought about the tools I had on hand, then looked at Precious's bulky frame. It seemed a bit tricky, better not to force it. Taking a cab or bus, anything would do. There's always a way out, but first, I need to figure out how to get out of the neighborhood. Running from the ground floor is not an option. My car is parked near the entrance of the building unit, and if I leave from there, Precious will definitely see me. That leaves the underground parking garage as the only way out. The underground garage also has direct access to the residential complex's main gate. Besides, from that direction, Precious won't be able to spot me. Alright, I'm ready to go. But right at that moment, the live comments that hadn't shown up suddenly appeared. Run, your parents came chasing after you. They think you're somewhere in the hallway and are coming to find you now. This time, the comments didn't appear on my phone. They materialized right in front of me. The barrage continues to scroll by, filled with information I can't understand. Apparently, this novel was suddenly taken down because of spoilers in the barrage, and now it's been restored. There's also something about the cannon fodder sister running away but not quite succeeding. And how the villainess is throwing a powerless tantrum at home, and so on. I've overlooked all of that. What I care about is the information that's useful to me. Fodder sister, your parents have already entered the hallway and started searching. They won't let any corridor on any floor go unchecked. They're looking into every one. They've already finished searching the 11th floor. Run, the one in front. How can she run? Her parents searched one by one, with one going in to search the corridors while the other waited in the hallway. If she runs and makes any noise, she'll be spotted right away. Then just run, dash down to the 1st floor. Her younger brother is guarding the 1st floor. The only way is to head to the underground garage. Even if she runs, it might be too late. If her father sees her running downstairs and calls her brother, won't he just come up from the 1st floor and trap her from both sides? Then what should we do? There's no mention of this detail in the original text, and we don't know how to escape. Are we really going to let cannon fodder sister get captured and married off to that old man in the mountains? The barrage erupted into chaos. Given the circumstances, I realized I couldn't run through the stairwell. Stepping inside would instantly expose me. In the current situation, I surveyed the hallway around me. There's a window, but there's no way to jump. There's an elevator, but it's under repair. 2 more households. I knocked on the door without much hope. Sure enough, no one's opening. I've never seen anyone in these 2 households before. I heard they went to another city, so no one lives in these apartments. They've finished searching the 10th floor. The barrage keeps me updated in real time. I pondered over my phone, thinking about how to deal with the situation. Should I call the police? Based on my previous experiences with this family, it wouldn't be of much use. They would put on a show in front of the officers. If I said I was being forced into marriage, they would respond that everything could be negotiated, but the police leave and it's a different face entirely. Given the current situation, as soon as the police are gone, they'll probably tie me up and drug me. Should I call for help? The people I know in this city, aside from Luna, are just colleagues. I haven't been working here for long, and to be honest, I don't really know my colleagues well. Still, I tried to message the owner's wife, but she hasn't replied. Probably busy. They've already searched the 9th floor. What should I do? What should I do? I paced back and forth in the hallway on the 6th floor. Maybe I should just charge down there and go down with Precious, even though I really don't want to go to prison. But given the current situation, better to meet a judge than a coroner. They've finished searching the 8th floor. I pulled out the box cutter I had hidden in my clothes. The pepper spray and stun gun were also ready. Took a deep breath, getting ready to dash out any moment. Just then, there was movement at the elevator. The elevator, which had been parked on floor B1, was slowly ascending, now showing floor 1. It soon jumped to 2. Is the elevator fixed? I immediately opened the homeowner group chat. Indeed, the property management had posted a message 1 minute earlier saying the elevator was fixed. I had the homeowner group muted and almost missed this notification. The barrage is cheering, we're saved, the elevator works just in time. I hurried to the front of the elevator, but as I reached out to press the down button, I hesitated. The elevator is currently going up. If someone has already pressed the button upstairs or there are people inside heading up, pressing the down button won't make it stop. Waiting for it to come back down would take an unpredictable amount of time. A barrage of warnings filled the live stream chat. They're about to finish searching the 7th floor. The elevator had already reached the 4th floor. Gathering my courage, I directly pressed the up button. I'll hide first and deal with it later. They've finished searching the 7th floor. They're coming down. Hurry up, elevator. The barrage is about to go crazy with impatience, but right now, I've actually calmed down. Maybe going upstairs is the right move. If I remember correctly, the 14th floor of this building has a fire corridor connecting to another unit. There's another elevator over there. I was too panicked earlier and forgot about that. The main thing is, I've never been up there myself, so I don't know if it's actually passable. But why not give it a try? The fire escape, after all, can't just be blocked off. I watched the floor numbers near the elevator keep changing. Finally, I reached the 6th floor. The door opened, and sure enough, someone inside was going up. The elevator had already been pressed for the 17th floor. I hurried in and pressed the 14th floor. The elevator doors slowly closed. I let out a sigh of relief. Thank goodness. The doors closed just as her mom walked in. A close call. So close to being caught. Her mother just glanced at the elevator, but immediately looked away and started rummaging through the clutter. It scared me to death. I thought they had guessed that cannon fodder sister had gone up. The barrage is broadcasting in real time. Watching the barrage now, I finally have the leisure to think. So that cannon fodder sister they were talking about was me all along. Looks like the world I'm in is a novel. Could the vicious female supporting character from before actually be Luna? But now no one is discussing the plot. They're all talking about my escape. The barrage continues. Her mom went out. They're probably heading to the next floor. Why did her dad come back in again? Oh, they're talking about the elevator. Her dad says he's going down to the basement level right away to guard the underground parking garage, so the cannon fodder sister can't take the elevator down and escape. He tells her mom to keep searching the corridors on each floor. Oh no. Does that mean the cannon fodder sister won't be able to get away now? She's made it this far. She can't get caught now. The people in the bullet comments are worried about me. It seems they don't know there's a fire escape corridor on the 14th floor. Since I can't send bullet comments, I can only silently respond in my heart. It's okay, you've already helped me. I can escape. The elevator was fast. The 14th floor arrived in no time. Sure enough, there was a fire corridor here. The barrage chat was pleased once more. Great, we can go down from another unit. Why didn't I think of this? Buildings over 11 floors must have 2 elevators. Having only one elevator here is clearly wrong. Now Sister Cannon Fodder should be able to escape, right? She can, definitely can. I quickly ran over from the connecting corridor. What a coincidence. The elevator on this side was on the 14th floor. I quickly pressed the down button and headed straight to the basement level. The elevator on this side was not in the same elevator lobby as the other one, so I shouldn't run into them. Just to be safe, I held the stun gun in my hand. If I did have the misfortune of running into them, I would just force my way through. The elevator quickly reached the underground floor. Outside the elevator room was the underground garage. I glanced towards the direction of my unit. No one was there. I dashed out. Using the stopped car as cover, I ran stealthily. The way was clear, and I soon reached the garage entrance and exit. Outside, the sky had not yet darkened. Light streamed in from the entrance and exit. I ran into the light. The barrage erupted in cheers. Finally escaped. That wasn't easy. Cannon Fodder sister survived the ordeal. I'm so excited. Ha ha ha. Her parents are still at the elevator. Her mom searched the first floor and found no one. She was so pissed that she sent her dad upstairs to look while she guarded the basement floor. Just now, someone came down. As soon as the elevator opened, her mom rushed in and even startled that person. Her dad went up cursing and swearing, saying he'd beat her up first to vent if he found her. But look, they couldn't find her. Ha ha ha, serves them right. The comments section was filled with cheerful glee. But I still didn't dare to relax. Just outside the residential area, it's still not safe, or rather, the whole city has become unsafe. My parents know I'm in this city, so they can easily locate my workplace. If they report to the police, claiming I disappeared during work and suspecting abduction or something, I'd be easily tracked down. I have to move to another city. After making up my mind, I got ready to head to the high-speed rail station, even though I hadn't decided where to go. I figured I'd just get there first. It was still raining heavily, so I opened a ride-hailing app, but with over 200 people in the queue, I gave up. The bus isn't bad either. There is a bus stop right at the entrance of the residential area, and I guess luck was on my side because a bus heading to the high-speed rail station arrived just as I got there. I got on the bus. Finally, I let out a sigh of relief. The barrage of comments was still scrolling before my eyes, at the moment. Aside from discussing my escape, some of the bullet comments were also wrestling with what would happen next in the plot. I took a look. The original storyline was roughly that, as the scheming female antagonist, after selling me out this time, Luna would move into my house and rely on my stockpiled supplies to survive this torrential rain and flood disaster. She is actually the true heiress of the Lin family in J City. After the flood subsided, she was recognized by members of the Lin family who came to provide assistance. After being taken back, she began a life dedicated to antagonizing the female protagonist. Oh, and her husband will die in this flood. As for me, a mere cannon fodder character, after being sold this time, I was tortured to death in the mountains. Now that I've run away, the bullet comments are buzzing with discussion, but they still believe the original plot won't be affected. Luna can still stay at my place. The bullet chat continued to discuss. It's just hard on the female lead. Yeah, the supporting female character is too jealous, can't stand others being better than her. She can even harm her own best friend, let alone the female lead, who was adopted by the Lin family. Even though the female lead recognized her and brought her back, she still repaid kindness with ingratitude. Do you guys think that since the cannon fodder sister ran away this time, the supporting female character might still try to harm her later? That's absolutely certain. Putting aside everything else, she can't stand the fact that cannon fodder's sister is prettier than her, and actually, the reason she was able to get in touch with cannon fodder's sister's parents this time was because she took the initiative to reach out to them. Wow, that's just too awful. I really hope the supporting female character dies in this natural disaster. I pondered over these bullet comments for a moment. Perhaps it's time for me to make a move. I'm no saint. If someone tries to harm me, I'll definitely seek revenge. Besides, from how things look now, it could also help prevent future troubles. I picked up my phone and sent a message to Luna. Ugh, I was already back home, but my boss called me back for something urgent, and my car happened to break down too. I had to take a taxi to the office. So unlucky. You go ahead and eat first. I won't be back anytime soon. There's so much work to do. Sobbing, my strategy is simply to delay. The bullet comments said that tonight the heavy rain will intensify, around midnight or so, and my home area will be flooded by the floodwaters, so let's just delay until the flood comes. This time the authorities didn't issue a warning about the flood, and I didn't stock up much, only enough for 2 people to eat for a month, and since my parents know I'm coming back, they definitely won't leave. With 5 people now, plus 3 guys, my stockpile will probably be wiped out in about 10 days. As soon as I sent the message, Luna called again, but I declined it right away. I turned around and sent her a message saying I was busy. I even saved a picture from a colleague's overtime post on social media and sent it to her. She sent me another barrage of messages urging me to go back, all of which I ignored. Around the same time, the shop owner's wife also replied to my message. I told her I was resigning and that I would have the car keys delivered to her via flash courier once I got to the high-speed rail station. I also asked her to keep my resignation a secret. As for the flood situation, I hinted at it subtly, advising her to be prepared. Once all that was done, the car arrived at the high-speed rail station. After having the car keys delivered via flash courier, I entered the station. The ticket had already been purchased earlier. The bullet comments had mentioned a few cities unaffected by the rainstorm and flooding, so I bought a ticket to one of them, the next available train, leaving as soon as it arrives. Only when the high-speed train slowly pulled out of the station did I truly begin to relax. I had really escaped this time. Bored on the train, I opened the home surveillance camera app. At home, my parents and Precious were already in the living room. Their faces were grim. Earlier bullet comments said they had turned the whole building, even the entire residential complex, upside down but still couldn't find me. Then they heard from Luna that I was still working overtime at the company. They were absolutely furious, said they were going to come to the company to find me, but Luna managed to talk them out of it. Now everyone is just sitting there in silence. The atmosphere is really awkward. Luna called me again. This time I answered. She asked in a gentle tone, "Jenny, when will you be done working overtime?" I checked my watch. It was 9 p.m. now. I chuckled silently and replied to her, I'll try to make it home by 12. The boss said we still have to get a report out. Luna's voice on the other end turned sharp. 12 o'clock. So late. Can't it be a bit earlier? I said there really was no other way. In my line of work, overtime is common, and being called in at the last minute happens often. Luna knew this well. She complained somewhat as she spoke. Is your boss really that inhumane? It's pouring rain today, and he still wants you all to work overtime. I absent-mindedly agreed with her. After a moment of thought, she added, maybe I'll bring you some midnight snacks later, and hopefully, your boss will let you off early too. I turned her down. It's no use. The boss already bought food for us, telling us to work hard tonight. I dug out an old photo of a midnight snack from the boss's social media feed and sent it over. In the end, she had nothing more to say. Then tell me when you're off work, and I'll come pick you up. I laughed. No need, the rain is too heavy, and it's the middle of the night. The boss said a colleague will bring me back. Don't wait for me, just go to sleep first. After hanging up the phone, I opened the surveillance feed again. Luna was pacing back and forth in the living room. And my parents and Precious were going crazy with worry. My dad asked. She said she'd be back by 12. Luna nodded. My mom added, so late, could there be a problem? Precious also chimed in. Has she sensed something? Should we just go to her company and take her by force? Luna frowned and said, her company has access control. We can't get in, so she needs to come out. Precious added, then let's go straight there. You just say you're scared and when to find her, when she comes out. We'll tie her up. Luna glanced at him, then looked out the window. The rain was getting heavier now. Judging by her demeanor, even if she were really asked to go out, she probably wouldn't be willing. Finally, she spoke. Forget it, it's only 12 o'clock. Let's wait a little longer. Another hour and a half passed, and the high-speed train arrived at the station. I found a hotel and settled in. After getting settled, I opened the surveillance footage again. The 4 people over there were restless. My dad looked at the rain outside the window and said with concern, the rain's getting heavier. I hope we won't get stranded later. My mom scolded, don't say such unlucky things. We'll definitely make it. Precious also said, as soon as she walks in the door, I'll immediately cover her mouth and nose. Once she passes out, we'll leave right away. No need for the hassle of having her drink water with drugs. Luna glanced at them but said nothing. Only Luna's husband seemed like an outsider at this moment, happily playing games. Luna gave her husband a kick. If she struggles later, you go help. Her husband didn't even lift his eyes from his phone screen. Got it, got it. Another hour passed, and Luna could no longer hold back. She called me again. Jenny, are you guys off work yet? I was just enjoying a takeout meal I had ordered and casually replied, no. Still busy, looks like it'll be soon. Her tone grew a bit impatient. But it's already 11:30, why aren't you off work yet? I brushed her off with a couple more vague replies. Unexpectedly, she suddenly said, Jenny, it's so quiet over there. Are you really working overtime at the company? I glanced around the room. This hotel really does have good soundproofing, although I knew the excuses I had come up with before were full of holes. I never expected her to see through them. Only at the last moment. Quickly, I made up a reason for her. Oh dear. There aren't many people left at the company right now. The others have already gone home. I have to wait a bit longer because I'm waiting for someone to deliver something. To my surprise, Luna actually believed it. Then I'll come pick you up. I raised an eyebrow. How are you going to pick me up? You don't have a car. It's raining at this hour. You can't get a taxi. And the buses stopped running long ago. Luna was eager. Never mind that. Just wait. I'm coming right now. After saying that, she hung up the phone. She really didn't even bother pretending. I smiled. Go ahead, then. Once you get there and find no one, then have to turn back. It's definitely going to be past 12 o'clock. The entire van got washed away by the water all at once. How convenient. I turned on the surveillance footage, and Luna and the other 4 headed out together. But before long, they all came back. The bullet comments started appearing again. Ha 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 ha. The rain's pouring so hard, though it hasn't flooded the streets yet. Precious's car parked in the underground garage has already been submerged. Everyone's expression turned grim. Luna had no choice but to call me again. Jenny, I can't make it. The rain is too heavy. Tell your coworker to get you back quickly too. It's far too dangerous. I mumbled, a couple of times and hung up the phone. On the other end, they had already started arguing. Precious's face darkened with anger as he pointed at Luna and cursed, this is all your fault. Procrastinating, stalling, I said we should have gone to catch her at her company earlier, but you insisted on waiting. Now my car is flooded, you better pay for it. My mother also chimed in, echoing Precious, exactly, if they had caught the person earlier, we would have been long gone. Now that the car is broken, none of us can leave. Luna, shattering the gentle image I had of her, shouted back furiously, I kindly provided you with leads and even offered suggestions, and you have the nerve to blame me. Besides, didn't all of you agree to this plan? What's the point of scolding me now? It's not like you didn't know she had a knife. My mother still pressed on, well, the point is we can't leave now. What good would tying her up do even if she comes back? We're still stuck here, Luna sneered. It's just the basement that's flooded. The roads are fine. Rent a car tomorrow and you can go back, Precious continued. What about my car? Luna shrugged her shoulders. What can we do? It's a natural disaster. You'll be compensated if you have insurance, right? Precious's car is uninsured. He still wanted to argue, but my father stopped him. Luna, let's each take a step back. You don't need to worry about what happens next. We'll handle things once Doggy returns. But we won't pay the full 100,000 benefits fee. We've already given you 20,000. So let's consider that settled, and we won't give any more after this. Hearing this, Luna was furious. She argued with them for a long time and even tried to drag her husband into the fight. It was only then that she realized her husband was nowhere to be seen. The bullet comments had already started munching on drama. Ha ha ha. Her husband saw the rain getting serious and took off already. In the original plot, her husband drowned. I thought he died while out searching for supplies. But it turns out he ran off when he saw things weren't looking good, only to run right into the floodwaters. You know, these two are actually quite a match, both selfish, and both end up hurting themselves. Luna softened up as soon as her husband wasn't around. She agreed not to demand any extra benefits, and the James family finally stopped obsessing over the car issue. Now, all they're focused on is waiting for me to come home. Of course they wouldn't wait for me, but they waited for the flood. Past midnight with still no word from me, Luna grew anxious. She wanted to call me, but suddenly a rumbling noise erupted outside. Looking out the window, they were stunned. The flood arrived and submerged the roads. The water level was still rising, and the first and second floors were soon flooded. Shouts of alarm rose from the community. Lights turned on one after another. The four of us in my family stood there in a daze for a long time before we snapped out of it. The flood had arrived. Now, no one could leave, but thankfully, the momentum of the rising flood began to slow down. My home is on the 12th floor. Based on the situation, flooding won't reach here. Luna had already forgotten about calling me. From the surveillance footage, I saw that she, along with my 3 family members, were terrified. I went to sleep with a smile. The next day, when I woke up, Luna had already sent me a message asking about my whereabouts. I don't intend to reply to her and will simply block her. Opening the surveillance, sure enough, the vicious female supporting character who runs through the entire book really lives up to her reputation. She has calmed down now and has found my stockpile, but this time, it's different from the original plot. And my 3 remaining ghost family members live with her. My parents straight up took all the supplies, not leaving her a single thing. From furious cursing to pitiful begging, nothing worked. She could only eat whatever scraps they left behind. My mother is a fascinating person in her own right. She didn't want to do housework, so she told Luna, from now on, you'll do the dishes, and you'll also cook the meals, then we can eat together. Otherwise, no discussion. Luna gave in, but even then, they ate the worst kind of food. I tried to pick up a piece of meat with my chopsticks, but my mother slapped it away. She's getting a taste of what my childhood was like. But how could that be enough? Those from the first and second floors of our apartment building who managed to escape are now all crammed into the stairwell, and there are still those who didn't stock up at home, going hungry. Someone in the community group had already asked if they could borrow some food. I immediately sent over a photo. It was a picture I took casually after finishing my stockpiling. Neighbors, there's still some food at my place. If anyone needs it, feel free to pick it up. I'm not home. The door code is. The neighbors were all stunned and showered me with praise, calling me a truly kind-hearted person. Shortly after, I watched from my security camera as someone entered the code and opened the door. The person who stepped inside saw the 4 people eating inside, and they all stared at each other in awkward silence. Precious reacted the fastest and immediately pushed the person out. My dad also hurried over to shut the door. My mom was completely startled, murmuring to herself, how could someone just walk right in like that? They weren't in the neighborhood group chat, so of course they had no idea what was going on. Shortly after, the person who went inside asked in the group chat. Hey, at 12:02, why is there someone in your house? I feigned surprise and replied, someone is in the house, is there a thief? Just then, someone in the group chat said, yesterday I saw someone wandering around the neighborhood, going to every unit on every floor, like they were casing the place. Could it be them? Another person also said, come to think of it, I do recall someone, a man who was loitering by the elevator yesterday. I could tell something was off about him. Maybe he was keeping watch or acting as a lookout. Seeing this, I took a screenshot of the surveillance footage and posted it in the group chat. Is it them? The two men from earlier replied, yes, it's them. The group erupted in anger. Who would have thought they were really thieves? Stealing is bad enough, but they were even eating the life-saving food I contributed for everyone at this critical flood moment. It's definitely no use calling the police now. The station is probably flooded too, dealing with its own problems. Everyone has to take matters into their own hands. Neighbors have never been more united than they are now. They send out their strongest people, armed with kitchen knives and mops, ready to go. On the surveillance cameras, my parents were still discussing what was happening when they saw the door being unlocked with a password and opened again. A group of people burst into my house and, caught off guard, they were immediately pinned to the ground. Everyone was shouting to catch the thieves. But my parents stubbornly refused to admit it. We're not thieves, we're family of this household. The neighbors didn't buy it and simply tied them up. At this moment, Luna spoke up. I can testify, they are the thieves. I'm not one of them. I'm the close friend of the household's resident. I just came to stay with her the day before yesterday. One neighbor scoffed. Looks like there's infighting. Why don't you all get your stories straight? With that, he showed Luna the chat records I had posted in the group. See, she doesn't even know you guys. Luna's eyes widened when she saw it. Unable to explain herself, she was also tied up. My stockpiled food was distributed among the neighbors, but as for those who were tied up, they simply couldn't reach a conclusion about what to do with them. After turning it over and over in their minds, they decided to just let them fend for themselves. With my consent, the apartment I rented was temporarily occupied by the people from the first and second floors. As for Luna and my parents, they were forced into the hallway. As for food, each household would take turns contributing a little, just enough to keep them from starving. Once the flood receded, they would be handed over to the police, but everyone was still far too naive. Who would have thought that the flood would last an entire month? Everyone barely had enough to feed themselves. How could they possibly spare anything for a criminal? One time, after Luna failed to get food again, the three members of the James family beat and kicked her. They even forced her to crawl through the hallway window into someone else's home to steal. She had no such ability and fell straight into the floodwaters, whereabouts unknown, most likely not surviving. The remaining three had no means either, surviving for a few days by drinking murky floodwater before ultimately starving to death. The bullet comments were delighted, saying that bad people get what they deserve and the female lead didn't have to suffer, and I truly let out a sigh of relief. The life that belongs to me, a simple and peaceful life, will finally no longer be disturbed by anyone. After hearing the two stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.